Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is Visit America, the don'ts for visiting the USA. I have checked this channel out before. It's Walter's World. He basically does vloggy type videos. He goes to like so many places and does the top like best things to do there, what to see, and also what not to do. Do you know any don'ts for visiting America?
I don't actually, to be honest with you. No,
I wouldn't even know any don'ts for visiting the UK. Would you?
No, not at
I
all.
wouldn't be a very good travel guide. I don't think I'd be able to give much.
I've only ever heard really good things, not sort of negative, like, oh, don't go there or don't.
So it'd be interesting to see what he's got to say. It's 14 minutes, and America's such a big place, so it'd be interesting to see where these don'ts are as well.
Yeah.
Or if they're state specific, or if they're just general.
Okay.
Don't do them. So
Yeah.
ready to get into?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go.
Here with Walter's World, and today we're in Mystic, Connecticut, in a beautiful place here in the U.S. And today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting the U.S. because anywhere you go in the world, there's things you should do, but there's also things you shouldn't do. And this video is going to just cover the U.S. in general, okay? And our first don't for when you visit the U.S. is don't touch the Americans. Look, Americans really like their personal space. It's like they have a bubble around them, and if you get too close to them, they feel very, 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 very uncomfortable, okay? So make sure you give them a little distance when you are there, you know, because I know when I go to Italy and Spain and stuff, we're like, Mark, how's it going? All this stuff. And my American friends sometimes go, wow, they're really, really affectionate. Like, that's just how it is.
Europeans are definitely more
touchy-feely.
Yeah,
definitely.
the two kisses, the greetings. I think that's quite expected if
like
you go
huggy
to.
And
Yeah. Whereas I guess America, I feel like UK maybe aren't as huggy.
Yeah,
probably like the middle ground between America and Europe.
Yeah, they're kind of like a bit of a pat on the shoulder,
or like a handshake.
Yeah.
Here, space is key. The second don't I have for you is don't count on public transportation. Look, when we were in China and we were throughout Europe and South America, we took buses and trains and planes and all kinds of stuff to get all over the place because public transport is really developed. Here in the U.S., you cannot count on public transport to get you a lot of places. Yes, in big cities like New York and Chicago and stuff like that, you can get around with public transport and it'll take you where you want to go. But a lot of towns, small towns especially, and middle-sized cities, the public transportation networks are not very good. And at night, sometimes it's not very safe. So that is kind of a frustrating thing. So yes, you're going to probably have to rent a car when you come here, okay? So just have a heads up for that. And
that's the UK is pretty good on public transport.
Yeah.
We've got trains. We've got it's. You think in London, it's so easy to get around.
A brilliant timetable, isn't it? For the
London
trains?
is similar to New York because when we went to New York, the city, the underground is similar to London's underground. But I guess around the rest of the US, it's not really.
Yeah. No, come to think of it, I've seen or heard about. Is it like the Greyhound, the big buses and things? Is that in America? Greyhound?
Might be. You're probably right.
The coaches, yeah.
Yeah.
But I must admit, people that I know who have been to America, they've hired cars.
Yeah.
And that seems
Whereas
to be
when we
the
think
good way to
we
get
go
around.
to England, we don't. We just public transport.
Yeah.
It's
or we take
easier.
our own car.
We'll take our own car. Yeah. We can't take that. It'd be a long boat ride to America.
that kind of leads into the next don't I have for you is don't underestimate the size of the U.S. The United States, it's, continental U.S. is like continental Europe. It's huge. I mean, would you think of driving from, I'm going to do, from Lisbon to Paris and then go up to Tallinn and then head down to Sofia? No, you're like, that is insanely far. It's the same thing when you come to the U.S. I meet a lot of travelers that are like, I'm going to fly into New York, grab a car, drive down to Miami to see Miami Beach, and then head over to L.A.
So this was me and James when we first did this channel. We were like, so we're going to come to America for 2 weeks. Let us know how many states we can do. And everyone was like, you won't even do one.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, dude, you got 2 weeks? You're going to spend the entire time in cars. The distances here are insane. So what I recommend is picking a region. So, we're going to stay here in New England and see New England. Or we're going to go in the southeast, go to Atlanta and Savannah and Charleston, things like that. Or visit the West Coast. You do that to get a better idea of the culture there and things like that. But also, it's just the logistics things because it's so far between the places. And to go along with that, for Americans, a 3 to 4 hour drive, that's a day trip. Like my parents live 3 hours away. I will literally get up, go drive, have lunch with my mom, and then drive back home. just for lunch, 6 hours in the car. No big deal. It's about 7 hours when we start to think, that kind of is a long drive. And we drive the entire way through. Okay, this isn't like, oh, I must stop every 2 hours and have a 15-minute break. Oh, no. No. We drive all the way through, okay? Now, my next don't for you when you come here is don't think that the sticker price is the end price. Look, in the U.S., we have sales tax. I know other countries, they have VAT, value-added taxes. They're already put into the price of products. So when you see, oh, it's $1 or €1, oh, I only pay €1. In the U.S., it is not like that. We have sales tax, so a certain percentage is added onto that product. And the thing is, I cannot tell you what the sales tax will be where you're going to travel because it's different everywhere. Cities, states, counties, different products have different sales taxes, and some products don't have sales taxes. Some cities don't have sales taxes. Some have 10% sales tax. It can be different anywhere you go. So if you're gonna go get your dollar menu item at a McDonald's or a Culver's or a wherever, it's not gonna be $1. Where I live, there's 2 cities right by where I live. One, it's gonna be $1.08. The other one, it's gonna be $1.09. So be ready for that. And it's not just the sales tax. Also, there could be the tipping on top. And that leads us into the 5th don't, and that is don't forget to tip. Look, in the U.S., you tip 15 to 20% at a sit-down restaurant, okay? Now, McDonald's, stuff like that, no, you don't tip at a fast food place. But if it's a sit-down restaurant where they bring you your food and stuff like that, you will tip them 15 to 20%. If you are in a group of 6 people or more, sometimes they automatically put the gratuity on there, which sometimes can be 18% or something like that. Look, when you come to the U.S., there's a reason why the food is like so affordable. You're like, wow, it's cheap to go out and eat in the U.S. It's because there's kind of this understanding that the service fees and paying for the workers and the waitresses and stuff like that, that goes on to you, the person eating there, with the tips. So the food and stuff can be cheaper when you go out to eat. And I know a lot of people say, I don't believe in tipping and this tipping isn't the right thing. They should pay their people more. Well, if you want to pay more for your food, they can do that. But they don't, okay? So tipping is something we do here in the U.S., so do tip that 15 to 20%. Oh, also, if you're at a bar and you're buying drinks, you're going to want to tip a couple dollars here and there. Otherwise, the bartender might not be too quick to come back and get you your next drink.
Well, we've got an ad anyway, but we've touched on tipping before.
Yeah.
It's definitely becoming more of a thing in restaurants in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like we some of our places add tip on already, don't they?
Yeah, some places do.
Obviously, you can say no, but I think they do automatically add on the bill. But it's definitely bigger in America. But it is coming in. Hairdressers we tip in. It is coming in.
Yeah, and like takeaway deliveries and things, and you can sort of put your tip on, can't you, for delivery drivers now? And,
the only place I would say that we don't tip where America do is bars. We don't tip at bars.
No, but then
But then they do have little change pots, don't they?
Yeah, and I can always remember saying, because I haven't been out in the bar for quite a while, but sort of saying, "I'll have one for yourself," and they would take like the amount of a drink and keep that as their tip.
Oh, maybe then.
Yeah, but maybe that's not done now because I mean that was a way back. So
and I suppose now
things are more expensive, aren't they?
Definitely, I think the minimum wage has gone up, hasn't it, in the UK?
Yeah.
So they kind of balances out.
I quite like it when there's when they almost add it on, because it's always that sort of awkward thing, isn't it? You think, well, how much do I give? Yeah, how much would be an insult to the people, and how much is actually being a bit too
generous?
Yeah. So actually, if they have things added on, I prefer that.
Yeah, we just pay it anyway, don't we?
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in a minute.
Top service and free stuff you sometimes get in the U.S. Look, because of tipping and commissions and stuff like that, yes, there is a lot of over-the-top service here. But the thing is, in the U.S., the people actually are pretty nice, and they want to help people. And sometimes for some travelers, if they come from countries where people don't get a lot of service sometimes, it
still blows my mind that I've been there.
Yeah.
When I see it,
amazing, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Can be a bit much, so don't freak out about it. Also with that is don't be freaked out with some of the free stuff you get when you go to restaurants. Look, if you go to a restaurant and they bring you bread and water or chips and salsa and all those really good things, that's included in your meal. Okay, so if you're going to be buying something, they're going to give you some free stuff. It might be some bread, it might be a salad, it might be a water, it might be something like that. So don't be like shocked when like, wait, I didn't order this bread, I didn't order this salad. Oh no, that comes with your meal, okay? Now the thing is though, you can't just go in and get chips and salsa and walk out, all right? You actually have to order some food when you go there. Now my next don't for you is don't smoke cigarettes in the U.S. if you're smoking cigarettes in the U.S., people will look at you like you're trying to kill their baby. Cigarettes is like totally verboten. Like people really frown upon it, which is funny because when they talk about marijuana and stuff like that, people don't seem to care as much. But cigarettes, oh, you're trying to kill my baby with that cigarette 2 blocks away. So if you do smoke, make sure you try to find a place where you can smoke, because a lot of restaurants, or pretty much all restaurants, hotels, stuff like that, have smoke-free. It's smoke-free, so you have to go like 15 to 20 feet away from doing things. So that can be something. So I've come here outside my favorite liquor store to give you the next don't. And that is, don't try to buy alcohol unless you're 21, or cigarettes unless you're 18 or over in the US. They will not sell them to you. And the thing is, don't forget your ID, because if you look like you're 40 or under, they may ask you for that. And don't get mad at them, because if they don't ask, they could get in trouble and get fined. So don't be surprised, because we've had friends that have come here, try to buy alcohol, and they're like, sorry, you don't look old enough. Oh, I don't have my ID. Too bad. And the thing is, it's not just the person buying. They might ask anybody with you, so make sure everybody has their ID.
Me. So sorry.
Take back a couple seconds.
You don't look old enough. Oh, I don't have my ID. Too bad. And the thing is, it's not just the person buying. They might ask anybody with you, so make sure everybody has their ID if they want to buy liquor, or they want to buy, well, they want to buy alcohol, or if they want to buy cigarettes. So just FYI on that one. Oh, that's also another don't I have for you.
I think the UK, it's not as strict, is it? I feel like you could easily get away with, if you looked old enough, you could get away with it. But then I guess it's probably different here because it's 18. So it's a lower, bit more, you're going to look younger, aren't you? But
I think 21's a good.
I don't get ID'd anymore.
Do you not?
Well, I take the baby.
Okay.
And they don't tend to ID me, I think.
You don't take them to the pubs, do you?
No. Like if I go, like I went to get gave me some beers the other day. That's my first time not being ID'd.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But if you look under 40, then that's that's a lot of people that still being ID'd.
But then saying that, I went shopping on Friday, and in the supermarket that I went into, the staff have to buzz if you're buying alcohol, and then another member of staff has to go, yeah, okay, that's fine, and it goes through.
Really? Wow.
And I definitely look 18.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Don't bother with a metric system when you come here. We don't use meters, we don't use kilometers, we don't use liters. It is inches, feet, miles, gallons, pounds, things like that. And I'll put a conversion chart here to show you. But honestly, you may say, hey, how far is it to this next town? And they'll tell you, oh, it's like 60 miles. You're like, what's that? Just know 60 miles, it's about 100 kilometers, okay? So just do that, because the people here won't get it. I mean, I have people, when I'll tell them, oh, it's 100 meters away, they're like, 100 meters? It's like 100 yards. Oh, okay. So make sure you do know your imperial system, okay? Because metric, we don't do that so much here. So our next don't is, when you do come to the U.S., there's a couple things you don't talk about, okay? One is gun control, and two is politics, because no matter where you are, you will get people on either side of the spectrum, and they will have an argument with you. So it's best just to lay off those topics, talk about the weather. Oh, wouldn't it be nicer if it was sunny today and we could go sailing? Yes, that would be much better than discussing gun control or politics. Just putting that one out there for you.
I don't think we need to talk about it.
No.
Now, my next note for you is, don't assume that all the U.S. and all the Americans are the same. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, you're a typical American. Well, it's like saying you're a typical European. Look, the U.S. has all kinds of different cultures, all kinds of different people, all kinds of different topography and scenery and stuff like that. And when you come here, don't assume it's all the same. You will see regional differences in cuisines and how people treat each other, and how everything looks, all kinds of stuff. So don't just think there's just one kind of American. They're all fat, slobby guys with ponytails. No, there's actually a lot of skinny people in America too, not just fat guys like me and my buddy Jeff. There are those. So don't assume it's all the same. All right. So do go out and explore. And that's why I always say is, if you're going to come to the U.S., go and explore different regions, because you'll get a really different feel. Because going to the southeast and seeing the plantation homes and going to see the southern towns down there versus going to the northwest and Seattle and Portland, or going to San Francisco, or going to the Midwest with Chicago and Milwaukee, you're going to have a very different feel, which is really a cool thing to do. And you start to understand is, wow, the U.S. does have a lot of different cultures within then in a lot of different feelings when you go around here. And following on with that, I guess I would say another don't is don't assume there's no culture in the U.S. because there are a lot of cultural centers out there. If you go down to New Orleans, you see a very rich culture there. You go to New York or Boston. Here in New England, you have a very distinct culture. In the Midwest with Chicago, Milwaukee, you go to the
Natural History Museum in New York.
Okay. I'd love to go there, actually.
West Coast. I mean, there's a lot of different culture here. Historic culture with the Native Americans or more recent culture here. I mean, you have all that here you can really take in. And saying there's no culture in the U.S., it's not really true because there are all these different cultural centers with great museums like the Art Institute of Chicago or the Met in New York, the Getty in L.A. There's all kinds of stuff you can see and do when you are here. For a cultural trip, it's not just seeing beautiful landscapes and seascapes like we are here in Connecticut. There's a lot more to it than that. Now, my next don't for you is one that I kind of get a lot of questions about. We actually have a video on this, and then that is, don't think that how are you or how's it going is actually a question. Look, when we say how's it going, how are you, these kind of things in the U.S., it's not a question, it's a statement. It's like saying hi. Okay, just take it as a hi. Because a lot of people say, everyone asks me how I'm doing. When I try to tell them how I'm feeling, they're like, well, I was just saying, how are you? Here, how are you is just hi. Think of it that way. It's like in France, ça va, ça va. How's it going? How's it going? We're good to go. In Portuguese, tudo bem, everything good. You answer back, tudo bem, everything good. It's just, how are you? How are you? You move on, okay? So don't think it's an actual question, all right? Now, another don't I have for you is don't expect a
Instead, then I give my life story.
Yeah.
They'll be gone.
Actually, I'm not bad, thanks. Yeah, a bit of a tricky stuff.
They'll be down the road.
And they'll be like, yeah, where they gone?
a lot at the fancy hotels. You know, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to pay more money for this hotel. I'm probably going to get nicer stuff, like a nicer breakfast, better Wi-Fi. Oh, no, 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 no. For some reason in the U.S., it seems like the nicer the hotel, the more you have to pay for the things you think would be free, like Wi-Fi and breakfast. So don't feel like you have to stay at the fancy hotels, because honestly, if you're going to be going out and exploring, you just need a couple beds, right? So stay at the hotels in the U.S., and the cheaper ones will give you free Wi-Fi, free breakfast, all these kind of things, which is really nice, so don't expect that from the fancy hotels. Another don't I have for you is don't skip out on the local food. Look, we're here in New England. We're here in Connecticut. We've been having lobster and clams and oh my God, the New England clam chowder. Oh, my tummy is just like more. It's fantastic. And when I'm in the South, man, Southern fried chicken, mac and cheese, barbecue. Oh my God. The food in the different regions in the U.S. are great. So don't just go to chain restaurants. When you go to your hotel, ask them, hey, what's some local restaurants around here? What's some locally owned and operated restaurants so you can go there and check out those places because they really give you a great experience. And I find a lot of times those ones actually have better service than the chain restaurants because it's a mom and pop place where the owner is the ones helping you out, and that is really kind of a cool thing. Now, my next don't for you is don't get sick. Look, healthcare in the U.S. is insanely...
Always get your insurance.
Yeah.
Travel insurance, always. Not a place you want to go, have to go to hospital.
Expensive. And just because you come from another country doesn't mean they're not going to find you for the bill. All right? So if you're going to be coming here, make sure you get travel insurance or trip insurance so in case you do get sick or you do break an ankle or you do break an arm or something happens to you, your insurance will cover it. Now, you might have to pay it first and your insurance pays you back, but at least you'll get something back because healthcare here in the U.S. is insanely expensive, okay? So make sure you're prepared for that. And I guess my last don't I'm going to have for you is one that people actually got mad at me for when I lived in other countries when I told them the U.S. has 50 states. And they said, no, the U.S. has 52 states. Look, don't think the U.S. has 52 states. The U.S. has 50 states, okay? Just a heads up on that one. I'm sure that people are going to be commenting down below that when I was in school, they told me 52. No, there's 48 on the mainland, and then Alaska and Hawaii are 49 and 50, all right? So those are our don'ts for visiting the U.S. What are some of the don'ts you have for the U.S.? Because I know there's more out there. I just want to get some of these out there to help.
Good video.
That was interesting.
Very informational.
Really interesting, yeah.
Lots of information.
Yeah, I think the culture one was kind of like, well, yeah, I think we know that there's obviously the culture, all the different influences all over the country, but
you even have to look at its borders, Mexico and Canada.
This
is just a vast amount of people, isn't there? But helpful if you're traveling.
Definitely, yeah.
I wouldn't have known half of those before I watched this video.
No,
I probably would have just sat there giving people my life story.
Yeah.
If you want us to check anything else out, let us know in the comments below. And we'll see you in the next one.